As the justices who hear these matters are grossly overstretched, unable to meet the demands of their onerous assignment, the litigants who approach the court seeking justice are left in limbo, waiting endlessly for justice to be served. These, as I have said before, are avoidable. While I exit today, the North Central Zone that I represent ceases to have any representation until such a time new appointments are made. My Lord Honorable Justice Ejembi Eko, who also represented the zone, retired on the 23rd of May 2022. My Lord Honorable Justice Sylvester Mwani Mbuta, JSC, died on the 7th of March 2021. I repeat, 2021. There has not been any appointment in his stead for the Southeast. To ensure justice and transparency in presidential appeals, thank God they have been heard and determined. All geopolitical zones need to be represented. They are required to participate in the hearing of such appeals. It is therefore dangerous, or it was therefore dangerous, for democracy and equity for two entire regions to be left out in the decisions that affect the generality.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election that was held on February 25, 2023, and the result controversially announced on March 1st, 2023. And that controversial result has been given legality by the Supreme Court through its validation of that election result on October 26, 2023 verdict, which left a lot of Nigerians, majority of Nigerians, dumbfounded. But that's the way it is. Now, one of the fallouts from that Supreme Court judgment, which validated Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu's election, was the revelation by a retiring Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Musa Dattijo Mohammed. At his valedictory session, he made a lot of revelation, but there is a revelation that he should help Nigerians or give clarity to Nigerians, which is, why did he recuse himself from being part of the 7-man panel that sat over the petition filed by Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party? Why did he recuse himself? He was reportedly told to be part of it. He recused himself. And the last time I checked, he has never been mentioned among those that should recuse himself. If you remember, there were those who protested that the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwoola, should not be part of the panel, that he should recuse himself. There were so much allegations flying around him that there were alleged phone call with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There were alleged meeting with Bola Ahmed Tinubu in London. So many things that were swirling around Arowoola. Many people, many organizations, NGOs, civil society organizations, youth groups stated that Arowoola should recuse himself. And the man did the needful. He didn't present himself to be part of the 7-man panel that sat over the petition filed by Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar. But Musa Dattijo Mohammed was said to have been appointed to be part of the panel, and he recused himself. Why did he recuse himself? That is the question that Nigerians should ask for from him. It is a question that will bring out a whole lot of things, even far bigger, perhaps more than his revelations at his valedictory session, which are no less important in any way. But why did he recuse himself? Why did he recuse himself from being part of the panel? Is there something that he found out about the whole process that made him to say he can't be part of this? It is obvious from what he himself, what Justice Musa Dattijo Mohammed said. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Arowoola, wields enormous power. It therefore means that he single-handedly appointed all the 7 members. And from what Mohammed is saying or said, the Chief Justice of Nigeria abuses his power. Is Mohammed said. He is saying that he does things without consultation. It is his way or the highway. He is the only one that takes all the decision. He doesn't consult. So, how did he pick the 7-man panel and included Musa Dattijo Mohammed, and he rejected it? What made him to reject it? Did he reject it because he found out that there was a predetermined agenda? Or what was his main purpose for rejecting it? That is what he should tell Nigerians. That's what Nigerians should demand of him. That is what will solidify his reputation in the annals of integrity in Nigeria. He needs to tell Nigerians why he recused himself, why he rejected the offer to be part of the 7-man panel that cleared Bola Ahmed Tinubu of all the allegations made against his election, including the forfeiture of $460,000 to the United States government, proceeds of narcotics, including electronic transmission of results that it is not compulsory. He should let Nigerians know. And as I said earlier on, telling Nigeria about that will solidify his place in history. But it is no less important or no more important than his revealing to us, to Nigerians, that indeed the judiciary of Nigeria is a cesspool of corruption, nepotism, politicization. We are going to look at some of the issues he raised so that we can begin to understand what is really going on in this country. But one of the most important things is that in his speech at that valedictory session, the Chief Justice of Nigeria described Musa Dattijo Mohammed as a man who says it the way he says it, that he is a very blunt person, that he doesn't fear no one, that he doesn't care whose ox is God, that he is blunt to a fault, That was Arowoola. Perhaps if Arowoola knew that the man was going to hit him hard, he wouldn't have introduced him that way. Because by that introduction by Arowoola, he solidified and gave credibility to whatever came out from the mouth of Musa Dattijo Mohammed. Earlier in his introduction, before Dattijo spoke, Arowoola was showering praises of him as a man of integrity. That's a man who says it the way it is, the man who fears no one, the man who doesn't care whose us is God. He will tell you the truth the way he sees it, that he is blunt to a fault. So if he's blunt to a fault, it means that the man fears nobody. In fact, CJN Arowoola described him as one judicial officer that could be blunt, even to a fault, and is never known to be afraid to say things the way they are, and also never shies away from calling a spade by his name, irrespective of whose ox is God. That was how Arowoola introduced the man that hit him hard when he began to speak. The man who talked about how the Chief Justice of Nigeria have abused his powers without consulting with his colleague learned justices. This man, Dattijo Mohammed, he accused Chief Justice of Nigeria of abusing the powers of his office. And he has the right to say things that he said because he was in the judiciary for 47 years. For 47 years. 47 years, as they say in local parlance, is not more. So he understands the inner workings of the judiciary. And he has seen it all. So he used the opportunity of the valedictory session to try to draw attention to the rot in Nigeria's judiciary. And Nigeria should be grateful to him. But we may go back to issue of why he need to tell us more than what he has given us. But Nigerians are happy for what he has brought out so far. Speaking, he said, through the years, I rose to become the second most senior justice of the country's apex court and deputy chairperson of the National Judicial Council. Considering the number of years I have spent in judicial service and the position I have attained by the grace of the Almighty, I feel obligated to continue the struggle for reforms for a better judiciary. I will not be leaning on the earlier, I will be leaning on the earlier submissions of those who had existed before me, Justice Mohammed stated before he descended on the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He maintained that the judiciary as presently structured gave so much powers to the CJN, who he said usually takes decision without consulting other justices. His words, as presently structured, the CJN is the chairman of the NJC, which oversees both the appointment and discipline of judges. He is equally chair of the Federal Judicial Service Commission, the National Judicial Institute, the Legal Privileges Committee, LPPC, that appoints senior advocates of Nigeria. In my considered opinion, the oversight function of these bodies should not be on an individual alone. A person with absolute powers, it is said, corrupt easily and absolutely. And as chair of NJC, FJSC, NJI, and LPC, appointments as council, board, and commitment members are at his pleasure. He said he neither confers with fellow justices nor seek their counsel or put on any matter related to these bodies. Thus, he neither confers with fellow justices nor seek their counsel or input on any matter related to these bodies. He has both the final and the only say. That is a classic example of absolute abuse of power. When you have both the final and the only say. He said the CJN has power to appoint 80% of members of the council and 60% of members of FJSC. The same applies to NJI and LPPC. Such enormous powers are effortlessly abused. This needs to change. Continued denial of the existence of this threatening anomaly weakens effective oversight in the country, he said. Now, on the current composition of the bench of the Apex Court, he alleged that the refusal to fill the vacant slot of Southeast on the Apex Court bench was deliberate. It was deliberate. Did you hear him? So this is example showing of nepotism at the judiciary, pretended over by the leadership of the judiciary. Nepotism. He said it was deliberate. And he blamed it on the absolute power vested in the office of the CJN. That's a classic case of nepotism, tribalism, and what have you. Only in a country like Nigeria. Because with the allegation that this retiring justice made, if this were to be in the United States, if this were to be in the UK, or in other climes where democracy works, the CJN should be giving explanation to Nigerians by now why he should not resign based on the allegation that this man leveled against him. This man worked with him. This man has seen it all. He said that appointment to fill this slot, the vacant position for Southeast in the Supreme Court, was not done because it was deliberately left vacant, so that Southeast will be denied of the chances of being represented in such an important organ of government. This allegation was leveled against the CJN of Nigeria, not by a politician, but a lordship of the Supreme Court. Now, he said, he further stressed that with his retirement, the North Central Zone, which he represented, will no longer have a justice on the Supreme Court, on the Supreme Court bench. He said, my Lord, Honorable Justice Ejembi Eko, JSC, who also represented the zone, retired on 23rd May 2022. It has been a year and 5 months now. There has not been any replacement. With the passing of my Lord, Hon Justice Chima Kentus Mweze, JSC, on 29 July 2023, the Southeast no longer has any presence at the Supreme Court. My Lord Justice Sylvester Nwale Nkuta, JSC, died on 27th March 2021. There has not been any appointment in his state for the Southeast. As it stands, only 4 geopolitical regions, the Southwest, South-South, Northwest, and Northeast, are represented in the Supreme Court, while the South-South and Northeast have 2 serving justices. The Northwest and Southwest are fully represented with 3 each. Now the question that begs one, the question that begs one answer is this: if the Southwest, where Arowoola came from, we are not have vacancies like they have now in the Southeast, would he have allowed it to remain that vacant without being filled? If Southwest, where Arowoola hails from, do not have a representation at the Supreme Court, at least 3 that they don't have, what will he have allowed it to remain so? Justice Musa Dattijo Mohammed has exposed the nepotism at the highest court in the land. And it is very appalling that those who are supposed to be guides to other arms of government are themselves immersed in the same nepotism, alleged corruption, and all the vices that they ought to pretend and mediate over in other arms of government. They are themselves are dealing with it, are battling with it. Now, speaking further, Dattijo Mohammed, Musa Dattijo Mohammed, went on to say some interesting things. He said, appropriate steps could have been taken since, appropriate steps could have been taken since to fill outstanding vacancies in the apex court. Why have these steps not been timelessly taken? And he answered the question he asked. It is evident. The justices, the court deal with evidence most of the time. Say, it is evident. So he has a proof of what he said. He said, it is evident that the decision not to fill the vacancies in the court is deliberate. So when you open the newspapers, you see senior advocates of Nigeria and other stakeholders lamenting about lack of justices in the Supreme Court, lack of adequate number of justices that they need to fill vacant position in the Supreme Court. But little did Nigerians know that there was a deliberate plot to disenfranchise some zones of this country for whatever reason. And thank God for this retiring justice who gladly CJ and Arowoola describe him as a man who speaks bluntly, bravely, and a man who doesn't care, who says the truth, no matter whose ox is God. Now, after Arowoola described him like this, and now he's saying this about Arowoola, Arowoola should know that Nigerians will believe this man absolutely, because in his introduction of the man, he has already told us the man is a very blunt person. He's a man who speaks the things the way they are. He said he calls a spade by its name. That's what Arowoola described him as. A man who calls a spade by its real name, by its name. It means that what he's calling the CJN is by the CJN's real name, based on the CJN introduction of him before he hit him hard. And yes, the CJN should take note. He was the person that laid the groundwork for what the man now came out to say. And a man, he did say things. So you can see the exposure of what is going on in the judiciary. It's all about politics. Perhaps they want to make sure that Southeast and some other zone will not be able to make any impact on presidential election when the matter gets to the court. Now, listening to what this man also said on the issue of the membership of the panel that heard the presidential election appeals by candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Labour Party Peter Obi, Justice Mohammed said, he said, to ensure justice and transparency in presidential appeals from the lower court, all geopolitical zones are required to participate in hearing. All geopolitical zones are required to participate in hearing. Who made it possible that not all of them could hear it? It was the CJN, from what this man is alleging. And the CJN also is aware that all geopolitical zones are supposed to be represented. Why were they not all represented? Why were they not all represented? And look at what Dattijo Mohammed said again. He said, let me quote him now. It is therefore dangerous for democracy and equity for two entire regions to be left out in the decisions that will affect the generality of Nigerians. He said, this is not what our laws envisage. He said, this is not what our laws envisage. He went on to say that although it can be posited that no one expected the sudden passing of Honorable Nweze, JSC, yet it has been 2 years and 7 months since the previous justice from Southeast died and no appointment was made. Now, if this was not deliberate as he rightly alleged or claimed, then what is the meaning of deliberate? For 2 years and 7 months, no replacement for him. Then he now moved into other serious matters of corruption, other matters of corruption. He noted that it was owing to allegation of corruption and perversion of justice that informed President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to order the invasion of homes and arrest of some judges in 2016. Not done. In 2019, the government accosted, arrested, and arraigned incumbent Chief Justice before the Code of Conduct Tribunal for alleged underhand conduct. With his retirement negotiated, he was eventually left off the hook. You can see that a person was accused of corruption. He negotiated his retirement. He was left off the hook. What does that tell you? It's all about corruption in the judiciary. In 2022, a letter signed by all other justices of the Supreme Court, including the current justice, including the current Chief Justice, the aggrieved protested against the shabby treatment meted to them by the head of the court and the chief registrar. In the event, His Lordship Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed disengaged ostensibly on grounds of ill health. This man has told us a lot. He has indicted the judiciary. But we cannot pretend that what he's telling us was entirely new. Because it is the same judiciary that Nigerians are asking and have not gotten the answer they are seeking for on how a person who came forth in governorship election in Imo State emerged first, became governor. On how senators who contested for presidential ticket of the ruling APC, who never participated in the senatorial primaries, emerged senatorial candidates of their parties. It is in this country that a senator at the valedictory session said that he has used the privilege of his wife, who was a former president of the appeal court, to help his friends, his colleagues in the Senate who were in legal problems. So let us not pretend that what he's telling us is new. But it is one of the few occasions where we are hearing it from the horse's mouth. A man who has been in the judiciary for 47 years. A man who has seen it all. A man, the only thing that remained for him before retirement was to occupy the position of CJN. He has seen it all. What lessons are we to learn from it? But he still have some unanswered questions. Nigerians should continue to insist that Musa Dattijo Mohammed, JSC, should tell Nigerians the real reason why he recused himself from participating in the 7-man panel that superintended over the petition filed by Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar. He needs to tell us more. There must be a reason why he recused himself. And that reason, he will do his country a lot of good by telling us. Is it because the whole thing was prearranged? Is it because he doesn't have confidence that justice will be served? Why would he recuse himself? Does he have close relationship with Atiku Abubakar or with Peter Obi? On what ground did he decide not to be part of it? Or is it because he believed that the whole thing was a charade and they don't want to be part of it? That is the next thing that he should tell Nigerians. to stamp his position as a man who fears no one, who says it all, no matter whose ox is God, as attested to by Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kayode Ariwoola, Olukayode Ariwoola. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.